Guys, welcome back to the channel. We're finally moving the Mustang today to the back shop. If you guys didn't know, we have a back shop where we typically work on the cars. However, with Kevin's massive Mopar collection, my car's been in the front garage, and so I've kind of just been working on my car up there, especially because I take it out a lot, so it's just easier being up there. But now with us pulling the motor, we gotta move it to the back shop. So let's get in here. So pretty much I'm gonna put the Mustang where the Magnum is right now, and the Magnum's gonna move where the Demon is. The Demon's gonna be up front here. The reason for that, well, the Viper's gonna go to the front garage and the Demon will be right here. The reason for that is the Mustang will be right here, which has the most room to work on the car, and then that way if the Demon's in front of the Mustang and I need a bunch of room in front of the Mustang to work on it, I can just back the Demon out into the driveway for the day while I'm working on the car. Got to do a little bit more cleaning in here. We kind of organized and cleaned some of this stuff. Kevin helped me do it. Kevin organized all that stuff. I kind of organized all my stuff over here. And then in here, we have a closet with pretty much all of our tools, and it's always a mess in here, but all the tools and stuff are right there. But anyways, Mustang is going to be living here for a little bit, and we'll go over that here in just a second. Fired right up. No big deal. This is where the Mustang is going to live for the next couple weeks. Got the Magnum right here, so I got plenty of room to kind of walk around the car. And Kevin's going to bring the Demon in, and like I said, probably when I'm working on the car, I'm going to get the bumper. I got to get all this front stuff off, but when I'm working on the car, probably just pull the Demon out, and then that way I have all this open space to work on the Mustang. But we're going to get the bumper off, start getting all the front stuff off, and then we're going to get it jacked up and start draining everything out of the car. Different the orange looks back here, just under different lights. If you guys notice, like some of the photos on my Instagram or even some of the thumbnails, the car always looks different. This is my favorite. People might not like it, but this is when I like it. It looks like construction orange. I really like that because it's like a darker color. In the front garage, it looks more like pale yellow. But anyways, had to go work for a little bit. Today is Tuesday the 7th, which is actually my birthday, and huge thanks to everyone that said happy birthday. But anyways, you guys will see this after, probably like Wednesday or Thursday, so no need to say happy birthday. But anyways, I almost always work my birthday because it's almost always on a day that I have to work. No big deal. Went and worked a little bit. But anyways, we're back working on the Mustang. Got it jacked up. Took the front bumper off. Now I'm pretty much starting to drain all the fluids on the car. And I figured you guys would want to see the oil. And it's actually really clean. There's no metal flakes, nothing. Before, when I changed the oil one time, I did see a couple small, like little metal flakes. And I don't know if that's from when it was a new motor or whatever the case may be, or it could have been debris that was just picked up in the pan somewhere. Anyways, the oil looks super clean right now. Obviously, you can't really tell on camera. Just looks like bubbly. There's some bubbles in there, but anyways, typically that little pan down there, I think it holds like 5 quarts, so I gotta drain into that, pour it in the bucket, drain again, pour it in the bucket. But anyways, goal of tonight is pretty much just to get all the fluids out of the car. So we'll drain the ice tank, we'll drain the radiator, drain the oil out, pretty much get all the fluids out, and then slowly but surely start working our way, taking things off of the car. Essentially, we've got to get the radiator out of here, take the turbo system off. I want to mark all the vacuum lines so that I don't have to start tracing vacuum lines when I go to hook everything back up. But yeah, we got to take off the turbo kit, so I want to mark all the vacuum lines first. I don't know if we'll get to the turbo kit tonight, but tomorrow, which will be in the same video, we might get to the turbo kit. We got to take the hood off because that'll make taking everything out easier because the engine's got to come up and out, so we need the hood out of the way. Got to get the intercooler out of the way. Yeah, so we're just going to get moving along. Like I said, drain the oil already. Probably start draining the ice tank next, and then we'll get some coolant out of the car. So I've just been cranking away on it for a little bit here. So got the turbo out, got the cross pipe out, the merge collector, got the upper radiator hose off, got pretty much almost all the fluids drained out. I'm sure there's like obviously some coolant in the block, and I'm sure there's some leftover oil, but got as much as we could out. Obviously got the oil return line off the turbo, oil feed line. I need to get those out obviously before we pull the engine, but we are just making our way along. So pretty much what my plan is with all of this, I'm going to go over this pipe here in just a second because that one might be changing. But if you guys don't know, we heat wrapped everything before. Now that I'm going to have a few weeks while the engine is being built, I'm going to actually send all this stuff off to get coated, so that way we don't have to use the heat wrap but still have heat dissipating benefits. So we're going to get all that stuff coated. But the reason why that pipe may change is the turbo, which I put over there already. Take out my AirPod. It's actually too small. It's not too small. It's starting to run out of efficiency at about 18, 19 pounds of boost. We think there's probably like 2 to 3 more pounds of boost, but it's pretty much close to its max efficiency. And you don't want to be running a turbo close to its max efficiency because that creates high IATs and it's hard for the turbo to keep up and you could end up ruining the turbo. So it is a 76 millimeter, 7687. If you guys haven't been around the channel, I started the turbo kit with a Precision 7675 with like a .96 AR and only a 3.5 inch exhaust V-band housing. Anyways, that ended up being too small. Now Gen 2 and Gen 1 Coyotes and LS platforms had ran that turbo before with no problems, but with this Gen 3 Coyote being a 12-to-1 compression, it could actually not keep up with the flow of this motor. These heads flow a ton. So this was the turbo that was recommended to me if I wanted to keep a T4 and a 76 millimeter, but be able to actually make boost. So we had to kick the Precision turbo. It couldn't even make like 3 pounds of boost on this motor. It was crazy. But this turbo is towards its max efficiency. It is still a T4. It's a 76 millimeter. So the reason why that merge pipe might change is because we're probably going to have to go to something like a T6 and step up to like an 88 millimeter. Now, here's the thing. Built motor, I need to put bigger injectors, obviously. I only have 1050Xs, so we're going to upgrade those, go over that in another video. But I'm going to have a built motor. I'm going to have the fuel system for it. I have all the pumps for it. Now it's either, I have the transmission to hold it. It's either keep the car as fast as it is for a while and just be competitive at kind of where that car is, wherever that may fall. But, you know, it's like a 520 car. It could probably go 5 teens. I don't think it could go 5 O's unless it lost a lot of weight. But it's pretty much like a 5 teen to 520 car. And it could be super consistent and super competitive at that rate. But I want to go faster. So I'm going to see if I can make it work. Obviously, we'd have to rework some of the cold side piping, that merge. We'd have to redo the exhaust. And I'd obviously have to buy a bigger turbo, which bigger turbos are more expensive. But I don't know for sure, but I think that's the route we're gonna go. This would be the time to do it. I'm gonna have a built motor. I could have a bigger turbo. I have the built trans. The car could be making some power. So I kind of just got to decide what I want to do. Joseph said there's nothing wrong with, you know, just having the car as like a low 5 car and just be super competitive and go have fun with it this year. Or we could turn it up. The problem is though, when you turn it up, make more power, other stuff starts breaking. Granted, even with the 76 millimeter, stuff could start breaking as well. But I still have a stock diff in the car. It's still stock IRS car. It just has upgraded half shafts, upgraded drive shaft. That stuff could start breaking if we start throwing more power at it. It's going 120 to the 60 foot pretty consistently, like low 1.2s, but it has been 120. If we start going like teens to the 60 foot, the car might start snapping some half shafts. It's probably definitely going to destroy the diff back there, but we just don't know. Those are things you don't know till you start throwing a bunch of power at it and until you start leaving super hard. But we've leaned on this car pretty much a good amount. It's just really the motor that's been holding us back. But now, with looking at the logs with Lund and Joe, we've pretty much determined the turbo's at its max efficiency. And like I said, there's probably 2 to 3 more pounds to be had, but it's just not going to live very long at that. So we're probably going to need a bigger turbo. But I'm probably going to do a few more things tonight, and we'll pick up the camera tomorrow. It's cold in this back shop. This is why I never work on cars back here. It's so dang cold in here, but got the little heater going. Anyways, as you guys saw, I got a decent amount of work done last night. Today, pretty much my goal is to remove the fuel pressure regulators. Got to get those out of the way. Probably leave the lines hooked up to them and just set them off to the side. pull the rails, pull the injectors, pull the intake manifold, and then I'll have a plate from Motion Raceworks that'll actually go right there. So Motion Raceworks makes a lot of nice plates that go right there for the engine. That way it's really easy to pull up with the hoist. So yeah, gonna get all the fuel system out of the way, intake manifold out of the way, and then I'm gonna take off the oil filter housing down there and start removing some of the harness. Last night I actually removed some of the coils and started pulling the harness back. So just trying to get everything unplugged and ready to move, and then probably tonight or tomorrow I'll start taking off the converter bolts and start loosening up the transmission. The transmission will be really easy to loosen. The converter bolts are kind of a pain to get to. Luckily there's only like 3 of them. But yeah, then we got to put some jack stands under the trans, and then once the motor plate comes in we can start pulling the motor out. But I actually did a live video talking about the turbo. So unfortunately my turbo is too small for the next goals that we have. So just spoke with Jose, Forced Inductions, kind of recommended a turbo size for me. So we're going to be looking at a bigger turbo, which means we're going to have to redo some of the piping. So there's definitely a lot coming for this car now. But I don't want to get too much into that. I do want to, however, release all the specs for the motor that I'm going to do. So I'm working with Will over at RPG Engines. If you guys don't know who they are, look them up. They actually share the same building as Whipple. He does a lot of private label stuff, so a lot of his stuff actually doesn't have his name on it, but it's actually built by him. That's just kind of how that industry works. But anyways, Will at RPG is going to be building the bottom end. I'm super excited about that. That's actually who built Branson's motor, and he's had really good luck with his. However, mine's going to be a little more built than Branson's is. Branson just went with pretty much a forged bottom end, pistons, rods, new crank, bearings, studs, all that good stuff. But I'm going to pull out the quote real quick, and I want to go over with you guys exactly what we got. So I got the quote / build sheet here in front of me. So anyways, we're going to be sleeving and O-ringing the block. Biggest thing in these Coyotes is sleeving them. If you don't sleeve them, which some people don't, Branson didn't, I know a few other people that haven't, it just limits you. Like 1100 horsepower is safe. You can probably push 12, but you're playing with fire at that point with the sleeves. So we're going to go ahead and sleeve this block, and then we're going to O-ring it, which should help keep the heads on the block. Try not push any coolant, obviously. Manly extreme duty pistons with Manly steel I-beam rods. We're going to keep the same 12:1 compression ratio. We're going to keep the same bore. Everything's going to stay about the same. Obviously all ARP hardware. Total ring set, but yeah, ARP hardware, crankshaft bolt, main studs, phaser bolts. We are going to do the 12mm head stud kit, King coated XP main bearings, King race coated rod bearings. Obviously all OEM gaskets, head gaskets, timing cover, valve covers, all that stuff. Boundary oil pump gears and crank sprocket. Obviously I don't have that. We're going to upgrade to those. We're actually going to use the stock crank because it's actually really good. They're going to balance and cross plane it, make sure it's good to go. Billet timing guides, billet tensioners obviously. We are going to upgrade the valve springs because these cars like to valve float up top with how much they flow, and when you throw high boost at them, they like to valve float. So we are going to do some Gen 3 comp cam valve springs, and then pretty much assemble it, blueprint it, do all that good stuff. The motor should be good for over 1500 horsepower. I'd assume like the 15 to 1800, somewhere in there. The turbo that I'm speccing out, it's probably going to be good for 13 to 1400 horsepower, somewhere in there to the wheels. You guys got to remember, you lose a little bit through the Turbo 400. The Turbo 400 makes you faster on the track. It cuts better 60 foots. It's more consistent, but you do lose some drivetrain loss more through a Turbo 400 than you would with a 10R80. So like if you put this car on a dyno, it'd make more power on the 10R80 than it would the Turbo 400, but it would actually be faster ET-wise on the Turbo 400. So we do need a little bit bigger turbo to push some air through. Like I said, I spoke with Jose today at Forced Inductions on speccing out a turbo. We've pretty much picked out that size. But yeah, now you guys know what engine I'm doing. If you guys need anything, please reach out to Will, RPG Engines. He does phenomenal work. I've already sent a few people there, and everyone's really happy that's already using him. He does awesome work, and his prices are really good. They're a little bit better than the competition, actually, because I have priced out, but you don't lack in quality at all. So huge shout to Will, RPG Engines. We're going to be throwing a huge RPG Engine sticker on the back. I got to put a few more stickers here. Another TG Motorsports, RPG Engines. Need to put BMR somewhere in there. But I'm really excited, and there's a couple more people jumping on board this year. But I'm really excited to be working with Will. He's actually a really nice guy. He's awesome to talk to, and he's really worked with me these past few months on the perfect build for this car, and he's been really patient. I think I originally got the quote like 2 to 3 months ago, and he's just been kind of waiting because I wanted to see how fast we could go on the stock motor. So huge shout to Will, RPG Engines. If you guys need to get a hold of him, RPG Engines on Instagram. You can email him, you can call the shop, but please reach out to him if you need a Coyote built. He does awesome work. So that's the build for that. Let's go ahead and get this fuel system and intake manifold off. So we got the whole fuel system out. Just got that regulator hanging out over there. I need to move that one actually, but got the intake manifold off, got the fuel rails off, fuel injectors. I already sold my injectors, but here's what's funny, is I actually never even deleted the IMRC, so I just ordered some block off plates from BL Fab, so we can lose these out of here, don't need those. But we just had these turned off in the tune, so they actually wouldn't even open or close, they were just locked open because of the tune. But yeah, I never even took these off, kind of funny. But yeah, so we got all that off. I need to put some tape, cover up, and then pretty much now I can start pulling the entire harness back now that all the fuel system's unhooked. All the harness should be loose, so we can pull the harness back, make way for it. And yeah, we're making some pretty good progress. It's dirty down in there. So that's going to conclude the first part of getting the motor out. Pretty much all I have left, I pulled the direct injection, all that last night so that the plate can sit right there from Motion Raceworks, which actually comes in tomorrow, which is perfect timing because today I'm going to get the converter bolts out, get the transmission off. I already drained the transmission, and then I'm going to move the radiator out of the way. And then, like I said, once that plate comes in tomorrow, everything is good to go. You can see I've got the whole entire harness pulled back off to the side on both sides. Everything is unhooked. There's not one plug plugged in. So like I said, yeah, that plate is just going to bolt right down here where the intake manifold goes. And then we'll be able to just boop, yank the motor out. Hopefully it's that easy. But you guys will see that in the next video. I am sending off the converter. There's a lot of stuff going on. So I've got to send this motor out. I'm hoping we're going to ship it on Monday. We'll get it pulled tomorrow, which is Saturday, and we'll get the motor sent off to RPG. I'm going to get the converter off. We're going to send that back to JPC. They're going to respec it for the new setup. I've got to get injectors ordered. I got to get the new turbo ordered, and then I'm going to start sending off some of the hot side parts to get coated. Obviously, like I said, we're going to have to redo the merge pipe, but I'm going to go ahead and get the other ones going and get those coated. I think I'm going to get the little overflow can that I have. I'm gonna get that coated, but yeah, everything is looking good. It really wasn't that hard. Obviously I've deleted some stuff on this car that makes it a little bit easier to pull the motor, but it really wasn't that hard. When we get the headers off, we'll get those coated as well. But that's going to conclude the first part of getting the motor out. On the next one, hopefully you guys will see the motor actually coming out, and we'll get that shipped off and we will get rolling on this build. We've got 7 weeks from when you'll see this video till the flashlight shootout. So flashlight shootout's February 29th, I believe, and February 28th, which is 7 weeks from today, I'm pretty sure, is the actual meet. So we're gonna do a dyno day the day before. I'm hoping to have this car ready, tuned, ready to go for the flashlight shootout. I have to work the flashlight shootout, so our plan is actually to have Joe drive the car because we don't know if Joe's car is gonna be ready. If it is, he'll be dual entering. But Joe is possibly going to be racing the tank sting at the flashlight shootout. I don't know if that's actually going to happen. We're really pushing for it. It's going to be a crunch till the end. The motor shouldn't take too long. They already started on it this week, so that's why they need mine, so they can get the heads, start messing with that, get all that put together. Turbo, we need to get that ordered, get that built, need to get the injectors in. There's a lot of stuff going on, and like I'm going to do... There's just so much going on. There's some other things I'm going to change, but you guys will see it on another video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. As always, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and I'll see you guys on the next one.
They got problems on problems on problems on problems on problems on problems.